Now I have to apologize for the annoying whining sound in the background, but it's harvest time where I live, so they're cutting the corn and beans.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. We have a new ammo test series to start off today. The 450 SMC cartridge, very close to the 45 Super cartridge. If you've never heard of either one of those, just think of it this way. You have 45 ACP, and then if you strengthen that case up a little bit and load that a little hotter, you have 45 plus P. But then if you strengthen the case up a little more than that and load it hotter, now you have 45 Super or you have 450 SMC. Now the difference between 450 SMC and 45 Super really, for the most part, let's just say the primer. Here on the 450 SMC, you see a small primer pocket. And here on the 45 Super, you see a large primer pocket. And as far as the numbers go, supposedly 450 SMC can go with a little bit higher pressure than 45 Super. But other than that, they're pretty much the same. If you want more history on them, look it up. It's kind of a funny story in the end. But basically it comes down to patent over the name of 45 Super. We do have an ammo test series started on 45 Super. There's 2 videos on that up right now, many more to come. And I felt that those minute differences in these cartridges, I felt that was enough to actually separate the test. That way there's no confusion, because people will argue about these two and which one's better and if they're the same thing or not. And I wanted to keep that all separate, so I'm just doing 2 test series. So what we have here today is DoubleTap's 450 SMC 230 grain controlled expansion jacketed hollow point. This is traveling at an advertised velocity of 1130 feet per second out of a 5-inch barrel. And then it says right here on the bottom, that calculates out to 652 foot-pounds out of that 5-inch barrel. It is a pretty interesting looking hollow point. It's copper jacketed, but there's something about it that just makes it look a little different than your average XTP or Gold Dot, things like that. I don't know anything about the controlled expansion round except for the name. I have a lot of DoubleTap ammo now, and it's time to get to testing it because they have some really cool offerings. Their descriptions seem really cool. We'll see how they actually translate in gel. Now when it comes to 45 Super or 450 SMC, sometimes the projectiles that are loaded into these, they're not exactly the most ideal projectiles for it, because it sends that 45 caliber projectile a lot faster than usually intended for these type of projectiles. I don't know if this projectile has been optimized for these velocities. We're gonna find out. Now, as far as I know, DoubleTap is the only company offering factory loaded 450 SMC. Even Underwood, that makes the 45 Super, they're not offering it. So I don't know exactly why that is, but it's a good thing that DoubleTap picked up the ball with the 450 SMC. We don't want to see it go away. The small primer that's in this cartridge can be a little bit more preferred than the 45 Super when it all comes down to it at the end. It's generally shot out of the same type of guns, but with a small primer you have less of a chance of overpressure signs in the primer, things like primer flow. It gets a little technical, but this is pretty much an improved version of the 45 Super. Kind of. Some people would say. I could be wrong. Some people might light me up in the comment section about that, but just think of it as they came up with 45 Super, and then this came along as optimizing the 45 Super. So I'm glad DoubleTap is making it. As far as the firearms you're going to shoot this out of, any gun that's rated to be able to shoot 45 Super should be rated to shoot 450 SMC. Now, when I say rated to shoot that, it's all a matter of how the gun is sprung. If it has a heavy enough recoil spring, and in 1911, sometimes it's other springs and things you have to do, but you have to make sure that this gun can handle it, because this really rocks this platform. You don't want to shoot it out of just, especially not a gun that doesn't even rate for 45 plus P. You definitely want to check what you're doing. Some HKs come right out of the factory able to shoot it, and maybe some other guns, but 1911s definitely need to be hardened, is what I call them. With that being said, the firearm we're going to be using today is the Remington R1 1911 5-inch with a 45 auto barrel, but it has been hardened for 45 Super type of things. We're going to be shooting for accuracy here on this B8 target. We're going to put 5 shots on target. We're going to do offhand shooting. We're not going to do it off a rest or anything like that. Now, 20 feet offhand, a lot of you are going to say that's not accuracy testing. You need to be on a rest. Practical accuracy is what I'm after right now. In a defensive situation, which is what I care about with these type of firearms, you're not going to get a picnic table, you're not going to get a rest, you're not going to get any of that. I want to see how the gun recoils, how the follow-up is when it comes to sight settling back on target, and I want to see how I can shoot offhand. Hopefully the chronograph behaves, because those rounds are going to pass through it before they get to the target, so we can get a velocity average, therefore a foot-pound confirmation. Then we're going to be shooting into 10% clear ballistics gel, and we're going to be chronographing the round that goes into it. I don't think we're going to get out of the first block, but we have 2 20-inch blocks for a total of 40 inches. All right, 5 rounds loaded up. Hopefully I can hit the center of that target. Let's see how the controlled expansion does if it's controlled on target. 1136. Felt pretty good in the hand, but it was a little bit of a substantial recoil. Substantial. 1109. 1138. That's pretty loud too. 1123. 1130. Let's go take a look. Now, as far as offhand shooting, you really can't ask for anything better than that. I have 4 rounds right in there, and then I have 1 round down there. I guess you can consider that a flyer, but I'll take that every day and all day, and that's why I like doing it offhand. I don't like to do it off the rest. This is all I need to see right here. Very accurate, and that's very powerful. You just have, of course, be careful of learning a flinch or anything with this type of an ammo, but controllable even though it's got the recoil. All right, that was really nice. This is really promising so far. If it passes the gel test, I might have a new carry ammo for this pistol. Let's see how she does. Should have put my earplugs in for that so I can report in real life. If you have to use it, it's loud, but it's actually not as bad as I thought it would be without my ear pro on. So 1107 is what we got. Let's go take a look at the gel. All right, so we have 1107 on the chronograph, and we saw during our other chronograph testing that this stuff is accurate to what the box says it's going to be. We hit 1130 on the head, and that's what they advertise on the box. So when you hit it on the head, you can't get much better than that. The foot-pounds of energy are there, so we know it's giving that massive energy dump that 45 SMC or 450 SMC is supposed to deliver. We have a good hit here, but it's kind of hard not to get a good hit at 15 feet. Entrance wound looks like your typical jacketed hollow point type of entrance wound. We don't have any explosive effect like I thought, we might have if it's the improper type of bullet loaded in there. So the bullet is designed to handle that velocity well. It did a good initial expansion, temporary wound cavity that you saw there on the slow-mo. We have a little bit of a bigger wound track here, at least the way it turned around when you get to right at this point. The bullet tracks along, keeps going. It has a slight bit of bounce back to it. It looks like it made it to about 15.5 inches and then bounced back and settled at 15. Like I said, these are 20-inch gel blocks, not the 16-inch gel blocks that we're used to seeing. So if it looks like it made it a little bit short, remember this, in a normal gel block, it would have almost gone right out the back of it. And for 45 caliber, things that come out of a 45 type of gun, like a 1911, that's pretty outstanding. Not that 45 is any type of slouch, quite the opposite. The thing is it's usually a bigger bullet, and when the hollow points open up, they have a bigger face to them and a little bit lower velocity than things like 9mm and 40 caliber. So they're going slower, they have a bigger face, they slow down more. They still give a massive energy dump, but you don't see them expand, or expanded rounds, you don't see them go as deep into gel a lot of times. This goes into gel. All right, from the top down, we see the same thing, just a different angle of it. Good expansion all the way through. These are old pieces of lead. These are not discarded from this projectile. And then the wound path settles down a little bit as it gets down to its final resting place. You see that thing's opened up really big and wide and flat. That's what I mean about the 45 opening up and it slows itself down. If it didn't open up so much, it would have definitely made it a lot farther in that gel, but we like this. This is a good energy dump and a very good wound channel. I promise you that would create a lot of blood loss. Now immediately we get some oohing and ahhing over this projectile. I put it right here even though you'll get the measurement in the corner of the screen, but this is more than a 3/4 of an inch expanded out. That is crazy. That's a totally flat face to this projectile. It really reminds me of a black Talon, the way these copper pieces folded back. They're not bonded, so they didn't do the exact same thing. Get out of here, mosquito. But wow, they peeled back really nice. The lead stayed intact. It might have lost a tiny little piece of copper here or there, or a tiny little piece of lead here and there, but for the most part, holy crap. I've not seen a 45 projectile stay together with that kind of expansion and flattening out and widening out. I can't remember seeing one do that well. So whatever projectile this thing is, holy crap. DoubleTap has, I'm going to say, knocked it out of the park with this one right here. I don't comment like that prematurely too much in the test, but I'm going to say that this is pretty awesome. Look how these petals are just folded back almost perfectly uniformly. I mean, they don't have to be a work of art every time, but they did their job of folding back and then allowing that lead to peel back, flat face itself, and look how much that thing has smushed itself down. That is really, really cool. But it didn't lose pieces of itself, so completely controlled expansion. So very powerful in the hand, you definitely feel it, but very controllable and very accurate on target. It proves itself in gel, and the projectile looks beautiful afterwards. I mean, that's a good package. I would have to say that DoubleTap knows what they're doing with this particular cartridge, and that's what it takes for taking this type of a bullet and putting it these type of speeds. Like I said, they're not always made to do that, but they picked the right combo of everything for this one. And I'm not just talking up DoubleTap, I'm not sponsored or anything like that, but I'll call it bad when it's bad, but I'll definitely call it good when it's good. I definitely recommend people learn about the 450 SMC, 45 Super, 40 Super. Those are 3 really cool cartridges. We have them on the channel. 450 SMC is the newcomer, but you can check out our videos on the 45 Super and 40 Super. Really cool stuff. It's really not that hard to either convert a firearm or just buy a firearm that can chamber it. And then you can play with stuff that actually utilizes the case capacity of the 45. So that was just test number 1. Like I said, this is a series. There's going to be more. I hope you enjoy this type of testing. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and until we see you next time, stay safe, have fun, and keep shooting.